We just had another stormy weekend. We can't seem to catch a break. So some of you have yet to get water in your basement. Some of you have a lot of water in your basements. We've got Dave Thompson, Director of Marketing from Woods Basement Systems here, talking about keep your basements dry before the water comes in. It'll save you a lot of trouble, and what to do if they do get wet. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Fawn.
How you doing?
I'm sugared up.
Yeah, I bet you are. I'm going to brag on myself for just a second, and I have not eaten. I think I ate three little Milky Ways, and that's it. Those little teeny square ones. That's it.
That's willpower right there.
I know. It's called willpower. That's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
All right.
I supplemented my coffee with sugar to keep all these calls coming in to help people in their basements and crawl spaces. So
I bet
I'm still jacked up.
Everything's wet, isn't it? I mean, everybody's got water. I've got 3 neighbors with basements. We have a high water table where I live anyway. So not very many people have basements or crawl spaces, but the ones who do all have water, every one of them.
Well, and after a drought, this usually happens. So it's nothing really new, and we get calls every spring too, like, well, that one flood in 4 years ago, I never had a drop in my basement. Well, how come it's leaking now? And it's just your basement is a dry swimming pool with the water trying to get in.
Well, and that was 4 years ago, so a lot can happen in 4 years. There could be a tree root.
That's just it. So we always talk about maintaining drainage around the house. Making sure a limb didn't accidentally put a divot in your gutter, so now you got this funnel dropping water, next to the bedroom window that you didn't know it was happening.
Yeah.
You got to look around your house.
Yeah.
But keep the water away. But once it gets in, we can stop that from happening again.
Yeah, it's time. It's almost that time of year where I pressure wash and clean the gutters anyway, and that's really smart to do because that does help with your basement. Oddly.
Yeah, and crawl spaces too. Because a lot of people don't even look in their crawl spaces, and this time of year they might say, "Oh man, I got an inch of water in there." And then when we get down there, once it dried up, we'll show a high water mark, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 inches high on the foundation wall. So to leave a high water mark, that's happened and lingered and happened again in a crawl space. So let's not forget the crawl spaces too.
And let's all remember how heavy and how much damage water does.
It does. It's great to shower in. I love drinking a nice iced tea. It's made with water. But when it's in a basement or crawl space, yeah.
I know, right? Every time somebody says crawl space or low or shallow basement with a dirt floor, I'm like, do you have ghosts? It freaks me out because if some can come up out of that sand, that's a problem.
Well, and it does, and we. 39 years is August, so we've been doing this since 1986, family business. It's a free estimate. When in doubt, just have us out.
Yeah. So how do you keep your basement dry before it gets wet? Because some people might just be building and they need to do that.
Yeah, and sometimes they got the dry basement, but they only have the one pump. And if they have a 1.5-inch discharge line, a PVC is the white vertical pipe coming out of the sump pump pit. If you measure across it and it's 1.5 inches across the exterior measurement, we can add our battery backup sump pump to your existing pump. Now you have 2 pumps. It's a battery backup sump pump, second pump, and then if the primary pump quits, you got this backup pump and the peace of mind if you're on vacation and a thunderstorm rolls through in July or something and you're not home and there's a power outage, you got the pumping capacity then. That's what saves a lot of basements that have installed it with us, but we can retrofit that into existing.
Okay. And if there is a dirt floor, can you cover that so it doesn't stay dirt?
There are some options for that. We like waterproofing the existing basements there. Basically, they would just need a general contractor to shoot some concrete down in there. You might want to scrape off a little bit, put some rock down, just so you have a barrier between the soil and the new concrete. It doesn't have to be. With the mixtures they have now, it doesn't have to be your original pour when you built the house that's 3.5, 4 inches thick. If you're doing it in an older home for retrofitting and not maybe finishing it, but you just want to climate control it, manage the water better, you can get well, you got to check your codes with the different municipalities too, but covering the dirt is always a good thing to do.
Yeah, I can't imagine having dirt. I would freak out and die. I remember when I lived up in North Dakota, my neighbors had what they called their potato cellar, and it was like this dank, stinky dirt stench place where they kept their canned goods and their potatoes. I'm like, I ain't eating any of this food.
So we have a thermal break and a dimpled matting and then a sealer that we can put on that. So if you happen to go down there, you can kind of walk on it because it's a 25 mil. It's a very thick reinforced nylon mesh covering with the thermal break and the dimpled material. I mean, don't walk on it with your shoes, but you could, put a toad down there for seasonal decorations, perhaps, once it's sealed, because it's just basically a deep crawl space.
Right.
And we encapsulate crawl spaces all the time.
Okay.
So we got options. We got options for repair, lots of products. And like I said, when in doubt, have us out.
Okay. And somebody just asked.
Maybe
they
in
said,
June.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Some lady just said she's got a stair. I'm going to read this. A couple of steps that go up into the side of her house, and she's never, ever had a leak before. And now there's the teeniest crack between the steps and where the concrete for the basement is. And I'm thinking that's water sat there, right?
Well, possibly, or it's settled away, and there's a seam there that she thinks of water. Like, the wind-blown rain that's hitting the side of the house can't be caught by the roof and gutter system and drain away. It's just pouring right there at the steps. I would get a good flexible sealant and seal that. Just caulk that in and see if it sheds the water and keeps it from getting into the basement. That might be a good step.
Yeah. I mean, try simple first before you go crazy.
Yeah. That's always good.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Do that. All right. So concrete is expensive, Dave. So when people call you, is concrete always the answer?
As far as replacing sunken, uneven concrete, no. We can possibly get it lifted and leveled or pitched away from the house if it's a sidewalk or a driveway coming up to the garage. And then you're not mix matching. Like if you put the two different new slabs next to the garage, then you got the different slabs down by the road, and you got this checkered pattern in your, plus not to mention ripping it out and filling up landfills. I mean, who wants to do that? So when it comes to the concrete leveling, that's something new we have available. And then, of course, we seal seams, too, so water, like the steps, too, for driveways to keep the water, because usually it's a water issue that's got the concrete, like all catawampus. I haven't used that word in a long time. But
Why not go wampus? Why not? All right, so when you say you level concrete, do you put dirt underneath? What are you putting underneath there?
Well, it's a foam injection. It's like a cellular concrete, a lightweight concrete, if you will. But it's all cellular, two different components that mix together and can become rock hard.
How long does it last?
They did my front porch 9.5 years ago and raised it 8 inches. And Rick Wood said, "Well, if we bust it up, we'll fix it." I was the guinea pig on the first project, and it is rock solid after all this time.
Wow.
And we've done IDOT, MoDOT, so we got a phrase that if we can lift a highway, we can lift your driveway.
Yeah, I guess so, because there ain't no semis pulling in my house. I know that for sure.
No, keep them, yeah.
Stay away from my house. All right, so Woods Basement Systems, you're everywhere, right? You're just the marketing guy for the local area.
Yeah, southeast Missouri, out to Dexter, Poplar Bluff. We do the Boot Hill, Jeff City, out to the west, and all of southern Illinois, central and southern Illinois. So
and
we're part of a dealer system, a dealer network. So we have a set territory. We got neighbors to the west and south that we refer to. So if someone's picking us up in Paducah, we got a great family business down there.
People are listening in Paducah right now.
Yeah.
They can hear us there.
Yeah. And there's a great family business, Frontier Basement Systems. I know Judy Gieber. We can refer that to them down there, so no worries.
Okay. It's all a big handshake all the way across the businesses. So, I had you on about all things basementy, but it sounds like you're steppy, you're driveway-y, you're sidewalk-y. You're all of those things.
All things basementy and more.
Yeah. All right. So what's the first step, though? Because some people just accept the fact that they have water in their basement. I, for one, there's just no way I would have water in my basement of any kind, not even a drop. If I see a drop of water that's not supposed to be there, I want to know where it came from, and I want it to stop. But a lot of people have those old windows that are built right into their basements that you just can't take out.
Well, a lot of the window wells is an exterior drainage and a covering. Make sure water doesn't get inside the well from, like, again, the wind-blown rain hitting the side of the home, not being caught, but a roof and gutter structure, and it just dumps right in there. Mm-hmm. Cover those wells, and then pitch the water away as best as possible. You may need to do a redundant drain if you have the slopage in the yard to take it to gravity to let it drain downhill. Mm-hmm. And, that's a kind of an exterior thing. We do have a sun house, we call that, and we try to fish bowl the window as best possible. It doesn't stop, like, condensation. If you have a leaky window in the basement from the air conditioning and it's 101 outside, you're going to have some condensation from time to time. But you're not going to have the flooding issue with the window well.
Yeah, I remember one house I had three-quarter basement, like the windows were above ground, so it didn't need a well.
Perfect.
The windows were above ground, but they were not removable, but they never leaked.
Sure. And that's the thing. We call it a window well. And what does a well do? Like in a farmer's well that holds water. The water gets into the well. Bad design, if you ask me, about having a window well, because they're gonna let water in.
Yeah, and then little tree branches or a tree seed or something's going to get in there. Pretty soon you got a tree growing up out of your window well. Craziness.
Replant it.
Yeah. No.
On Arbor Day. No,
take it out. Cut it out. All right. So, Dave, if people have major messes or minor messes, or if they think they might have a mess in the future, you're their guy, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it's a free estimate to have us out. We have several installation methods that go with our patented products that customize a repair. A sump pump is a sump pump. My whole family got the same sump pump I got. It's a triple safe sump pump with the battery backup. They all look the same. But the rest of it, how to get the hydrostatic pressure relieved, how to get that water to the pump so your basement stays dry, can be customized depending on what the symptoms and problems are occurring in each and every basement.
Coolest thing I've ever seen on your website, because I dig through before I talk to people to make sure I know what I'm talking about, but the coolest thing I've seen is the crawl space where you show it filthy spider webby with the stationary posts that are holding the house up from, caving in on the floor when you walk on it. And you show this scary haunted looking place, and then when you're done, it's got this covering that looks like the bottom of a swimming pool, and it's not scary anymore.
Well, that's the encapsulation liner, the 25 mil that we talked about with a nylon mesh in there. And don't be fooled with the stuff that's online that looks just like it, because it has a pressed two-piece plastic that looks like it has this ribbing and nylon mesh in it, but it doesn't. There's no way you can get the same material and save hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They're cutting some type of improvement out of that product. So it's just a way of encapsulating, sealing off the negative elements that are creeping into your basement or crawl space, and then utilizing that space for dry, clean storage space, or in a basement. I mean, people are amazed, like, I can't believe I'm actually going to finish a room down here, have a TV room down here.
And it's your biggest investment you're ever going to have. It's your home, so make sure you get it done right.
Are you going to buy a house with a problem like that, or ask for money off?
Ugh.
So what do you think is going to happen to you if and when you choose to sell your home? The reverse is going to happen.
And even if you're somebody who owns a rental property, you will elongate the life of your rental property by getting this done. Well, Dave, I'm out of time. What do you want to tell them how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, woodsbasementsystems.com, woodsbasementsystems.com, or call us 618-344-2288.
All right. Get a hold of him. Keep it dry before it gets wet, and then you won't have problems that you'll regret. You can use that.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vaughn.
You're welcome. Yeah, Dave, bye-bye.